it can really do. And honestly, with this team, we're also seeing, of course, a Brimstone. And Brimstone on this map, I would say, is not the best smoke. I think Astra, almost every single time, really shines here.
I have to agree. I'm really interested to see how they plan to kind of work this Brimstone out. On attack side, it definitely seems more viable, but on defense, it's going to be really tricky for them. But again, Jaesung locking in the Phoenix, I'm really excited. I do think Phoenix has gotten a lot better since that patch, and I think it's only a matter of time before teams kind of start to unlock his real potential here. So we'll just have to see how this actually ends up working out for them as we run into this very first round.
Yeah, and we're moving right into this pistol round with everybody going for a little bit of a, force up buy. It's what you do, pistol. You know the character you're playing always determines what you're purchasing. But one thing I will point out is Slurt and Inertia are both going with that armor. Usually armor on pistol round is a great way to really turn the tide on these battles. Especially since neither team has a healer, has a unit to do it. But let's see if Koki here can now push back all of the people rushing his side. And that's a little bit of a headshot down for him.
Spike down.
Where we like to see it. He is popping off right now for his team, but now it's an even 2 against 2. The spike is now back in the hands of Polly. And, as we said, Polly, one of a pretty solid player in their own right. Going for this last player standing. Worrisome because Melvin is there to shut down Jaesung. And I think really with this headline, he wants some more, and he's just gonna get it. I'm surprised not a single attempt to even plant the bomb there.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I think the whole play from Rolled there was kind of questionable. I really like the way that they set up to hit C. It was a really strong, split push through Garage and C long, but things just really started to fall apart, and I don't know if it was necessarily the tempo coming out from 4Leaf's Fragment Grenade, but as soon as they pulled right into C, I mean, Koki was just completely unanswered as he shut it down completely, and like you said, no attempt to plant the spike there. Maybe Polly was just concerned about the essential push from C long, but they're definitely going to be hurting for those credits this round as they go into a save. 2 Sheriffs online for Jaesung and Slurk though, so we'll see if they're able to, put out any damage onto UCSD and get some of their economy crippled going into the 3rd round.
Yeah, and you gotta try to cripple the economy, but honestly, with what Melvin's been up to right now, his headhunter has been hunting heads, definitely just collecting them, putting them on his belt of decapitated foe, and I think he wants to get some more. They are now pushing in, and Melvin, he's going for it, and he is gonna get one.
Spike down A.
They're gonna flick on Slurt. That is not a great position to be in if you hear the attack. Lots of damage taken by Inertia, but I think they might be able to bring this back. It's just, how can we see them just hold this WP, get onto the site, and maybe try to win? But with 2 anchoring in 1 heaven, this is definitely a scary position to go for, but can we see this happen? Polly, now, he does have his C. He's already getting a pick, and oh, that is unfortunate. Jason
1 enemy remaining.
Wants to see other.
Spike down A.
Quantum, you're gonna have to do better here. The Sheriff might be good enough, but is it better than a Bulldog? And the answer is no.
Yeah, really, I mean, expected outcome there. They do lose a couple of guns for UCSD, but not really enough, I think, to, like we said, damage the economy. But I really don't want to highlight Melvin's play there. I thought it was very interesting, him being very, aggressive up in sewers, but not having the TP placed there. So he was in a very punishable position, and unfortunately, Rolled was just not able to close that out for them. So now, they're going to be put onto a bonus here. We do have, another Sheriff coming through, and it looks like Melvin maybe just kind of hoping to, lock in the operator soon. Meanwhile, rifles in the hands of Rolled, but lots of light armor. There is an opportunity here for UCSD to actually take this bonus round and put Rolled on the back foot going into this next round.
And 2, that is going to be Stanley going down, and now Jason, that is his ultimate, and that's why I think being
Spike
for nothing, and now 3 onto 4Leaf. This man's on a road to an ace right here, getting every single attacker or defender that wants to try to retake this site, wants to re-hit it. But one thing I'm going to ask Disco is, do you think that Melvin, he's been consistent here, can he get some picks off?
I mean, that's the hope. It looks like they really just want to be set up for any exits here, but unfortunately, Polly's just going to shut that down immediately, and now it's just all down to Koki with a Sheriff in hand. I mean, best case scenario here, you try to get at least 1 on the way out, but it's looking like this is just going to be a flawless round for Rolled.
Yeah, and Rolled is definitely happy about that. A flawless round on their buy round. Don't have to risk losing that economy. But Koki, he's ready to swing out. But look at Inertia. It's like he knows exactly what's about to happen. And this is a swing and a hit with the headshot down and a newfound sheriff in the hands of Inertia. But, I mean, that is so good for their economy. We take a peek at the scoreboard right now, and, I mean, yes, Koki, he's got his ultimate. Melvin, one away from his ult, but what we saw from Jaesung, he popped his ultimate, got himself 3 pieces from it, and that is insane to just have him be able to be so consistent, and it's really just showcasing why I think Phoenix is there. But if you look at it, he's the only one on his team with a positive KD.
Well, that's what I was going to point out as well, is that that's the, you know, that's the value that you can get out of the run it back, especially from somebody like Jaesung. You can just open up the site for them completely, and now, I mean, they have so much to work with. I'm surprised to see that they're still running a light armor. I think this is just an anticipation of, you know, the opponents buying a mostly Vandal, so it could pay off for them. Koki able to find one out there into mid, and so that's going to kind of disrupt the default, I think, a little bit for Rolled. So they're just going to have to kind of try to slow the tempo down. But Edge, look at the stack that UCSD has over towards C. They could be playing right into this.
They could be playing right into it, but the one thing that we are seeing is Quantum kind of shattering the stack, making sure that he knocks it over before they push forward.
Find you.
And a little bit of util goes a long way with Talon trying his best to find anything, but the only thing he finds is a bullet to the brain while Flirt gets it down for Koki. This is a 2 against 4 retake, and you know, this is also the buy round for these defenders. If they lose this, their economy is back to the shambles, and we might actually see a 2
last player standing.
Jaesung shutting down 4 Leaf. Unfortunately, 4 Leaf not as lucky as his name suggests.
Yeah, really good round, I think, for Rolled there. I mean, obviously, Melvin just has a lot to do here. Getting 1 kill would be fantastic. Jaesung is just absolutely on a tear, but I do want to talk about the Brimstone value that I've been seeing coming out of this Rolled composition. I mean, like we said, going into this, very questionable picks having the Brimstone, but you can see how important it is for this, I think, their play style. You know, Rolled obviously likes to explode out onto the sites. They love the fast hits, and Brimstone really complements that, and just being able to execute so quickly right off of those smoke drops. And we saw it happen. I mean, unfortunately, 4Leaf was just, or I'm sorry, no, Salad was just a little, you know, up the creek without a paddle there, and you know, even though they had the stack, they were still able to roll right over them, and that's the benefit, I think, of having this Phoenix and Brimstone combo. But now,
oh, that's the combo, but it's not good. It's so close. I mean, here's the one thing I like that you pointed out about the Brimstone. Inertia is a duelist main. I mean, he's been, well, not really a duelist main, but he pops off on characters like Raze and Neon so often when he's scrimming that now that he's rocking the Brimstone, one stim check can get him the same mobility and the same speed boost that you love seeing from a duelist initiator, and he's kind of taken up that mantle to get in. He's not afraid of the smokes he puts down for himself, and he's ready to keep it going. But right now, these attackers, incredibly slow-paced gameplay. They know that any weapon they lose is a huge upgrade for whatever these defenders got, and with Melvin having the tour de force, it could be pushing into a large amount of damage.
yeah, but UCSD definitely feels in control of this round right now. As we can see, Rolled has really very little map control, and they even tried to reset. They had to go re-clear spawn all together just to make sure that they didn't walk into anybody that was coming back. But now, look at them. They're just walking up towards A. They might just try to completely contact into A here,
30
but
seconds
if Amir
left.
can find a timing, it's pretty big. But I think Slurt has spotted him out.
I think Slurt has spotted him out, and there is Jaesung getting a clean shot down onto Salad. But can Amir get
Spike planted.
You're looking away, but you are able to not die to this stinger. And I think we might actually see Jaesung be able to get this down, but I don't know if Amir has any idea that Jasung's and he doesn't. This is sort of force in the hands of Melvin, and Melvin's ready to rock it. He knows that there are some people in sewer. 3 retake with now 4 Leaf Clover getting a shot down. Another one, but he is finally shut down. But here we go. I mean, this is what we like to see. These defenders have gotten the ultimate, they've gotten the sight, and Quantum, he's got to move fast.
Last player standing.
He's not going to, with 4 Leaf running it down and running him out. But that's an ultimate to scare him off the bomb, and I think Inertia single-handedly just won his team around.
Wow, really impressive round from Rolled there. Obviously, they got a lot of investment into that. you know, with the orbital strike coming out from Inertia to just kind of secure the round for them. But what's really the most interesting to me is that they just pressured A so heavily, and UCSD just trying to play discipline didn't really over-rotate, and even though they really had no default elements, they were able to just completely walk into A site. Now, I don't know if that's just lucky timing or just really strong intuition from World there, but I mean, just to be able to take the site that free and then put Amir into a position where he's basically just pinched on both sides, really impressive out of them, and it looks like they might be setting up to just do a similar thing on C, so just relying on their firepower, I think, to roll over their opponent.
You're dead! Watch your eyes!
And you kind of want to try to roll over your opponent.
Face your fear!
Every time he runs it back, he runs it down and runs them out of this match. Beautiful shots coming out of Jason, but he wants to get some more. Can't we see him now re-hit it again?
Spike planted.
Kind of popping off for his team, but the problem is that he's one of the only people alive right now who has been getting more than one kill. Can we see that happen again? He is, of course, in a 3 against 5, and the fact of the matter is, they're needing to win some rounds. Haven, yes, could be considered an attack-sided map, but the economy right now, incredibly attack-favored, and this is risky for Melvin, but not risky with his aim. Clean shot onto Slurt, and he's ready for Jae-Sung here. I mean, Disco, what do you think these guys need to do? Because you're looking at it, and we're seeing the fish anchoring heaven while Melvin's here just doing all the damage. Where is his team to help him out in this position?
No, I think this is the right call. They're just going for a save here. They need to hold on to as many of these weapons as possible. And for Melvin to just kind of hold down Garage and try and get as many exits as possible is pretty good. Even though, you know, Roll's economy is in a fantastic position, it's not really going to damage them that much. I guess Pauly now in a little bit of a trickier spot, but of course, like Inertia or Quantumus could just buy for him. And, you know, I think that was actually the good move for them to just try to save, but I don't know if I like their defensive hold of these sites. I mean, I think it's become really clear that Roll is just going to go as fast as they can. It looks like they're just cultivating these ultimate orbs for Jae-Sung and just trying to explode off of these, you know, run it backs. And I mean, look at him. He's 13 and 3 while the rest of his team has no more than 2 kills. So UCSD just needs to find a way to shut down this aggression and maybe a little bit more map control on a flank to try to remedy what's happening here. But right now, it's going to be very tough for them as we see they're on kind of a broken bye.
A little bit of a broke bye, but that hasn't stopped these guys before. But what will stop him is Inertia. That is a clean shot down, no damage taken. And the fact of the matter, KO was the only person on his team with an ultimate. So even if they were able to get the guns down, they're not going to be able to utilize anything. But
Spike down, B.
Clean shot right through the smoke, spray it down, and make sure that they're going to get muddied in the waters. And now Pauly here has to back it up for his team. But the fact of the matter is that is a big pick. No more controller, and these defenders have that Astra. Never mind. Koki's going to get one, but boom! Double kill down for Melvin. Pauly guarding the flank. He's got to try to get Melvin down.
Last player standing.
Already gone.
Last player
there we
standing.
go. Pauly gets it. Last player standing on both teams. Who's going to be the man to get sit down? Let's find out right here with Amir pushing in. Tries to find the headshot. Gets it through the wall, but Pauly, he's not done quite yet. He knows this man wants to try to swing on him. He's got a little info. He's gonna wall bang him. That's why you love the fade.
I mean, Pauly just really out here showing us why he is as recognized as he is, especially now in the Valorant community. A lot of people might still remember this, but his old team, Carpe Noctem, was able to take down 100 Thieves many eons ago, and they're just showing us exactly why now that this main core is still able to continue to do damage. I mean, UCSD, they kind of tried to remedy it. I've noticed that Salad trying to put a little bit of pressure on the flank, but it didn't seem to matter because the positioning for their post plant on B was just so strong. They were able to get in, plant the spike, and then get back out and just hold on to main. So again, a lot of momentum starting to go for Roll.
You want to play? Let's play.
Again, going to be on another eco. So I would like to see, you know, more grouping in numbers here, and hopefully just trying to get a weapon out of their hands and something that they can use to try to swing this round, because this is going to be very tough for them if they end up losing this one in the following round.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be a loser here in this game. And one thing you got to mention is the ultimates that they have been slowly building up for the defenders. I mean, you got the Showstopper, and you, of course, have the Null Command. These are two ultimates that completely shut down an attacking chamber, can shut down a phase, and that's how you shut down a chamber. Melvin with his Headhunter. I mean, he's ready to get to work here for 6 rounds. Now, he is not going to to be able to get a pick. And unfortunately, this is where Melvin, low HP, has to back it up, and the smoke is down. But I mean, Jason, he's just gonna keep holding that MVP. He wants to get this in, and I think he's going to be pushing up on the aggro here. He knows exactly what these players play like, and he's just reading them like a book here.
Yeah, this is a really, I think, obvious position here. The null command is going to be popped, but unfortunately, the element for the pinch there has now been, deleted. So it'll be very tough for them to try to retake the site. And obviously, we see that there's not going to be a single chance. 4Leaf able to get one, but again, Rolled just really good at stabilizing. Once they take the sites, I mean, they get it. Their post-plant positioning has been so good, and how they use their utility to just delay and hold on to the site has just been phenomenal. So I really think UCSD really should not be fighting for as much retake as they have been in this game. I mean, 6-2, Jaesung is just completely rolling over them. But again, we pointed out that Brimstone on the defense side here is not going to be the strongest. So it's actually kind of expected, I think, for them to have this many attack rounds. I think UCSD just needs to kind of stop the bleeding a little bit and get on the board here. Now, how they intend to do that, I'm not quite sure, but it looks like they're already just kind of moving off of this early A aggression and just trying to reset potentially into B, while Rolled just take their time setting up for what looks like it's just going to be another aggressive C hit.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be another C hit here. And honestly, if you look at the stats of the match so far, C seems to be where you want to be. And with Koki now, Scott he needs to try to, but touching it. He's just going to stick it down. Getting only one is not worth it. Luckily, Salad is now here with his teammate, able to get the trade. That's how you do it. So many ultimates, though, are being used by these defenders that if they don't win this round, it is detrimental to the fact that they
one enemy remaining.
Back, but they
Spike
can
down
win it with
C.
Melvin and Amir getting the picks. It's going to be Quantumness with the operator, but there's Melvin. You know, you got to hand it to this team on the defense. They had to use how many ultimates? The Showstopper, right? The Quarter Force, the Nightmare. That's 3 ults right at the end just to make sure that they can get it. And I'm hoping that that's going to be enough, but these attackers can still pull by with confidence.
Yeah, but you know what? That's exactly what UCSD needed to do. See, they were playing for too much retake in the past, and really what they needed is just to use their utility to just try and slow down these plays a little bit. We saw the benefits of them doing that. Yeah, Koki was flashed, and he was getting hit with all the utility, but he managed to stay, get a pick, and allow the rest of his team to kind of come in and assist him in that. That's the kind of plays that we want to see from him, because we know Rolled is just going to try to go fast, and they're doing it here again on A. So hopefully we see a similar, defensive hold from Melvin and Amir both getting one here. So maybe that'll be enough to kind of slow Rolled down here and maybe force them to kind of reconsider. Also, we do see that the pinch is already coming in from UCSD, so map control really good for them. It's going to put Rolled in a very tough position.
Launching smoke. Very tough position to be if you are Rolled, but here's the thing. A 3 against 4 definitely what they want to do, but it's Melvin who is the biggest builder. Of course, he's going to be the guy to get picked, and he's going to force him back, but Melvin
player standing.
Immediately
Spike down
dropping the enemies. Now he's got the Vandal and he knows where Quantumness is, but is he going to get the shot? He is going to get it. Melvin, a 4K, picks up his op. Just the confidence of knowing exactly, hey, there's a weapon next to me. It has enough ammo for this. Picking that up and getting the spray down. It's just a good game sense matched with even better aim.
Yeah, so, I mean, UCSD definitely figured out what they needed to do without even really taking a timeout. So impressive. They are able to stop the bleeding just a little bit, but only 2 rounds left in this half, Edu. And look at Jaesung. He has the run it back available, as well as an orbital strike and a nightfall from Poly. So we've seen what they can do on rounds like this where they have this kind of utility to burn, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them do another explosive site hit.
And onto Jaesung. It's hard to push in when you don't have your lungs. I mean, the sad part is Jaesung has had adult, and he's ready to replicate what he's done so many times, or at least do it for free. So that's the power to run it back, and now it is run down and rusted. But he's gonna get it, but a little bit damage, not too much, because Paul
last player standing.
Spike
down mid.
Down. Slurt, last man standing, having to play here. He's got a little bit of a util, but look at this. Corner and 4Leaf makes it flawless. Beautiful job.
Yeah, really well played from UCSD to just try to shut down Jaesung. I'm sure that they have, the same exact idea that they see that the run it back is available. They know that a lot of the plays from Rold have been off the back of this Jae-Sung performance. Obviously 17-7, his utility and his ultimates have allowed them to take so much space off of that, but they have another chance to do it again. Last round in the half, if they can win this out, go in 7-5, that's obviously best case scenario, but I really feel like they needed to shut down a lot more of these rounds before going over to defense, because I don't know if this is going to work out as well for them. So a lot of ultimates to invest here. Meanwhile, for UCSD, there's really not much else to work with. Maybe one ultimate away from the Astral Divide, which now they have online. So we'll have to see how this works out. Melvin already shutting down.
Face your fear!
Come on, let's go!
And here we now have the ultimate coming out. But I mean, the thing about Jae-Sung pushing this is run it back has got 4 seconds remaining, and they know, these defenders know, they have to bail. He's only going to get info. He's a glorified Skydog at that point. He's going to TP all the way back to Cubby, and this is where the retake really shines, with Amir getting Pauly down. And I mean, this Fade, yes, he has a clean record. He's not really getting picked up with his team back to back to back. And now Amir, he's ready to swing it out and try to get the pick. But Jae-Sung is there, getting one, getting 2, and needs to get 2 more. But Salad's gonna gun him down, leaving only this man Inertia. The last time we saw him in this exact position, he used his ultimate to Bay, but Melvin, he's not letting him do it today. Clean pick all the time.
Yeah, and UCSD are able to tie it up in the half, which, I mean, honestly, just a few rounds ago, if you had asked me if there was a shot at them doing that, I would have said no way. But I did want to point out something that I didn't really notice until now, but the run it back plus the Nightfall combination from Jae-Sung and Pauly is actually quite brilliant, because Pauly is able to highlight a lot of opponents and give Jae-Sung just direction. He knows exactly where to go, yeah. So it's really impressive when we see more stuff like that going into this. You know, that could really pay off big for them. But now I'm more curious, Edge, of how they plan to set up here on defense with, you know, Brimstone as their main controller. Should be very interesting, as well as Koki being on the other side is going to allow for a lot of interesting plays, potentially strong fakes coming out from them. But we'll have to see how this pistol round works out for them, and it looks like they're just going to set up for potentially a mid hit.
Yeah, potentially a mid hit, but are they actually going to get it? It's about how could they push this forward. And, you know, when you were saying you didn't think that UCSD can actually get the solid push-up coming out there, and when you said that, when you were assuming that Melvin wasn't 19-6, he just popped off right now. So, I mean, that kind of breaks this best of 3 game 1 so far, looking very much even. But it's just a 2 battle of giants. Rolled versus this team, Melvin, really. And Inertia versus Melvin. Those are the 2 players that you have to be looking at here. And if Melvin is consistent with that headhunter as he was on defense, this could be a game for UCSD. But right now, he's not being consistent. He's taking damage, and he has to rotate back to his team. But look at this. It's going to be that deep push.
Oh, they're going right into the stack here, Edge.
They are going for it. He's doing a little bit of damage, not taking it. So that's a perfect play, but here's the damage landing right onto that man, and it's gonna get Quantum down. But here's the push coming out from these players. Melvin is having to rotate. For Leaf, he's gotta anchor this. He's gotta make space for his teammate to rotate, but the spike is still down. He's now gonna start moving. A-site is the new retake here. And I think we're just going to see Melvin incredibly low, but you don't have to worry about how low you are if you know what I mean.
Last player standing.
Unfortunately,
30 seconds left.
But it's okay, because we got 4 Leaf here with that Frenzy. 63 HP allows him to take 1 or 2 shots before he is dropped. And it's risky here, but I think he's got
Unfortunately, not able to close that one out. And I think a very interesting pistol round from UCSD there. I mean, it looked like they had all the conditions that they wanted to, but questionable rotations, I think, coming out from the team. A lot of them started to back off. And then, you know, once 4Leaf kind of concedes that space to, you know, grab the spike and re-rotate, Melvin just decides to go for a hero play up in Garage, which I think was probably not the best move there. I think maybe just regroup and then try to either re-hit C or just run it straight to A, because at that point, getting the credits for planting the spike is probably going to be, you know, one of the better case scenarios, at least as something to fall back on. So
find you.
Well, rolled now onto an anti-eco. Quantum's opening it up with a Marshall shot. Should give them a really good place to start here.
Well, that's the question makes it so he can't do it. Yes, he got the pick, but now he is being picked. Amir with a classic is gonna get the pick down for that man. And there we go. Flirt is ready to rock and roll it. He's already used up his util to try to scare him off of sight, but my man, they are already in mid. And here's Pauly with the Spectre, looking to make a Spectre, get some people down. And of course, he does have 3 of his util here to there's 1, 2, but no ammo for the other 2. What a play. It's going to be a little bit of a retake coming out, but the fact is, him getting those 2 picks for the price of 1 has evenly gotten his team in 4 elite within that knife. It's definitely scary. They have no idea that Jason, he's anchoring this down.
Spike planted.
And
1 enemy remaining.
That's going to be 2. Jae-Sung, that's the power of 6 ping, I guess. 22-9, ultimate available. And so far, winning both the rounds, you can kind of expect
No
that.
charges
But
left.
Amir opening it up, getting that initial pick, kind of clean.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think the MVP of that round was Pauly. He was able to just kind of slow that down, and you know, he got out with 2, but I mean, putting 4 leaf down as low as he did just really allowed Jae-Sung to play exactly the way he did. And you pointed it out already, the run it back online. That's 2 halves in a row now, Edge, that Jae-Sung has had the run it back available by round 3. So I'm interested to see how they decide to, you know, employ this ultimate on the defender side. You know, on attack, it was just very aggressive. Let's make space, and then you guys come with me. But we could see another potentially aggressive play out here on A long, and it looks like UCSD is going to be ready for it.
Oh, Melvin.
Oh,
What a shot from Jae-Sung, singing the last song to be heard by that man, but his song is also tough. And there we go. Down there,
Spike down A.
Ultimate.
1 enemy remaining.
Koki now getting it, and this might be clutchable. If
Last player
the man with the
standing.
Marshall
Clutch.
clutching the round. I mean, that was such a close round, but one thing is to be said, these attackers, they lost everything. Their money is bad, and the bonus had been given over to, of course, this team rolled.
yeah, I mean, that opening engagement from Jae-Sung, just getting 2 there right off the rip is really hard to come back from, and especially when you're, you know, on your first buy round, your opponents are on a bonus. That's really not how you want it to start off, obviously, but run it back still available for him, and I think he just might be saving it for a retake here, as UCSD is just going to be, you know, going on to 4 Sheriff, so I think, you know, Rold can just kind of relax a little bit and take this round. It should be free for them, as we do see UCSD just kind of trying to set up for a default here, which is definitely the right move. They need to try and take some weapons out of their hands, but already a lot of damage coming out from Quantumus. This is not looking good for them at the start.
Quite a bit of damage, but also quite a bit of skill. Look at how much we're seeing from
They
Melvin
found my
right
trap.
now. He's so low, and to be honest with you, he hasn't really gotten too many vital picks for his team yet. Quantumus, though, getting Amir, and there we have Melvin fighting the trade. The Sheriff's coming out. This could be a potential thrifty, a 4 against 3. But they need to find any of the guns that they've been knocking out of the hands, and they're just so far, so long range that here he wants to get some more. And if he can spot out another, he might be able to just shut down this potential thrifty. But again, these attackers, they are so spread thin with one of their HP, 2 the weapon choice, but oh my, Jae-Sung getting no carded down, 4 leaf, checking no corners, Pauly with the trade. Here's the thing, we are seeing a great push so far.
Take them!
Nightmare to make sure that
30
he hit
seconds
one,
left.
but he spots the other.
Marked 1.
Oh, and he's gonna get stuck inside of this. A lot of util. I love the Astra Fade combo. But he's
Where
stuck
are
in
you?
hit right now. And that's the gun down from Pauly.
1 enemy
Able to
remaining.
get 2. Will Sort gets the 3rd.
So much
That
for
is the
their
round for
elite
defenders and an
agents.
MVP moment again. We're seeing a 4-0 at the half right now for Team Rolled.
Yeah, and you know what? You pointed it out. I mean, it was a really good round, I think, from UCSD. The way that they played it was pretty much textbook, in my opinion, in terms of eco. They were able to just kind of default out in mid on C-long and able to find those picks, not actually moving in off of them where they might be expected to, but the problem was that they weren't able to convert any of those kills into free guns, and you pointed that out being the big issue there. I think if they had some, you know, Vandals, any sort of rifle there was probably a better chance that they win that round. Unfortunately, they're, you know, at the mercy of Pauly because of that. So now they have rifles back in their hand, and it looks like they're just trying to win this engagement over on A long before they decide where they want to go. But we can see Jae-Sung already run it back, getting so much information out into mid.
A lot of info down for these players. One thing I will point out is what we got from Amir inertia here. He's able to get a lot of information as well, but with the run it back being used, and of course the fade taking so much damage, these defenders, they're kind of getting pushed back right now. Unfortunately, Jason was not able to get the lead, but Melvin shutting down Slurt. Every little one of these, if there was a ticker that went up or down based on who has the prediction to win this round, it's back and forth right here. And with Melvin, he's just making some space and trying to keep that ticker as far apart from each other's team as possible. But with inertia, he needs to get this going. He needs to start moving fast, and maybe with one smoke onto B or something, they might be able to shut down the re-hit with Quantumness anchoring it alone over at C. One rotate coming out.
Yeah, but it looks like Rold is actually anticipating this C hit here, though I think the defaults from UCSD a little bit one-dimensional, and the read is going to be rewarded here in Quantumness. They're going to know exactly what is coming as the execute comes through immediately.
Teleport's gone.
Oh, that's so much damage, and
One
look
less.
at this, so Quantumness, he's not taking advantage of in that position, and
One
there he
enemy
goes
remaining.
down.
Spike down, C.
Jason,
Easy, man.
he's there to get the final
can
blow.
only be one
I mean,
hero.
I'm so surprised that Quantum survived that. The man is literally quite 1 HP.
Yeah, I mean, I really like I love the defaults from UCSD. I think they're actually really quite effective, but I think the big problem here is that they almost always default mid. They find those picks, they don't take any of the space that they work for, and I think that Rold is just kind of picking up on that. It's almost a telegraph for them to know, like, okay, these guys are going to fight us mid, they're going to get a pick, and they're either going to try to walk A or they're going to try to walk C. And that round, they
Let's make
almost
some
immediately
chaos.
knew where they were going to go. Pauly just insta-rotated to C long, and so I think they might
You want to
anticipate
play?
seeing
Let's
UCSD
play.
not even going to aggress, just let them go for it.
Oh, wow. But, I mean, you know, you're talking about not allowing them to be aggressive, and then Melvin pulls off that, pick for them. And again, these defenders, they want to be aggressive. They need to be if they want to shut down this team, and it's been what's been working for them. In fact, is now down, point by Pauly. Getting the breakdown. He can't get any more. He would need to have gotten 3 to make that peak worth it, and it's just not enough. With right now a 2 against 4 with an anchor down in the hands of Slurt. A little bit of a flashbang, not connected to anything, but his bullets are. There's 1, there's 2,
Last player
there's
standing.
3. Slurt,
Spike down
MVP
A.
for the round, but it's just up to Melvin, who's been anchoring slowly inching his way towards the enemies. He's got the tour de force.
One enemy
and he's got
remaining.
the headshot. This is either a ace clutch or Slurt's MVP. Melvin, you're needing to get this. You need to get your 5th kill. But are you going to get it against these players? You can't avoid match point. It's a slow push. Quantumness playing it beautifully.
30 seconds left.
But he's about to walk away from Melvin, and he aces it! 33
Oh, thank you,
HP!
thank you. You are
And
too
what
kind.
a play by Melvin. I mean, that was such a back and forth there.
I mean, unbelievable round from Melvin there with the tour de force to not only get the ace, but just take the round for his team. A much-needed round to finally come back from 5 unanswered rounds for the side of Roll. But really, I was so concerned because Slurt, alone anchoring on the site, decided not to invest his Rolling Thunder there, and now he's going to have it online again, as well as the Orbital Strike. So this could be an opportunity for them to just kind of bring it back and just make sure that, UCSD doesn't run away with this round. The economy is still in a pretty good spot, but we can see they have the Cosmic Divide and the Showstopper online for them as well. 1 away from the Null Command and 1 away from Nightfall. So this could very easily go into the favor of UCSD if they decide to play this well. And it looks like they are just kind of going for that very typical mid and C long default here, just waiting for some information. But Rold is giving them absolutely nothing to work with.
Yeah, I think Roll is playing their heart out right now. Again, Melvin's kind of the sole survivor on his team. 27 to 11.
Face your fear!
16 kills below it. He could win the game, but now that he's down, Slurt getting that pick. It's up to Amir to really pick up the pace, but he's concussed and dead. Jason popping it off and ready to pop down some more. Here comes nothing for his team, but honestly, you've already gotten 2 of the biggest players. You've gotten Amir, you've gotten Melvin. That's the indication that this team, the attack,
Now we're cooking.
with inertia getting down the controller. I think this is going to be match point given
Last
over
player standing.
with everybody just getting pot shotted down. 4-leaf stuck in the corner,
Flawless.
and he is down. A flawless round. You say, hey, you guys can try to ace us. Try without Melvin.
Yeah, I mean, expertly
Match
timed
point.
Rolling Thunder from Slur as well to just completely break up that play. It was so huge. Jaesung was just able to capitalize off of that and shut down the showstopper activation from Amir as well. So, I mean, really well played from both teams, but I think Roll just came out with the more efficient timing and better mechanics and just overall. So now we're on match point, and UCSD, they're going to have to win 5 in a row, but look at the buy for them right now, Edge. They have nothing to work with, a null command and a cosmic divide, but it's not really going to be enough, I think, with what they're equipped with.
Yeah, they're not really equipped with a whole lot here. Look at the info. Of course, trying to get something, but with Salad here, he needs to get in and be the aggressor, and Pauly, unfortunately, is going to be taking his spot, getting himself down, and I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do if you are UCSD. You know, they were having such a strong attack that it's been completely thrown out of the window by the team Rolled, and that's kind of, you know, consistent with Rolled. They play with their food before they absolutely roll out. And that's one from inertia.
One enemy remaining.
Everybody, the last man goes down.
So
Game one.
Defenders
Now
win.
getting moved on
Nightmare
over. And,
is over.
you know, Disco, what can you really say about that game outside of they got ruled in the second half?
I mean, it was actually really impressive. I got to say, like I said, going into that second half, I wasn't really super confident in their composition for the defense side on Haven, but they really just proved me wrong and were able to show us that they've been putting a lot of work into this specific composition, and Jaesung just absolutely playing out of his mind. Melvin obviously taking the match MVP, but really just not enough for UCSD. But hey, that's okay because it's only map 1, so it's not over for them yet. There is a chance for them to turn this around, but with the way that Rolled has been looking, I'm going to say it's going to be a very tough task.
You know, a tough task indeed, and with how Rolled popped off, I mean, here, we got to say it. Melvin got match MVP that game. He had the highest combat score, most amount of kills, 7 first bloods. If they were going to win they have 7 wins. The only wins they have is because Melvin was like, okay, I'll get the first blood. I'll push us on a site, and I get that. But where are we seeing them lack? And, you know, UCSD, this is game 1. If you're going to be in game 1, you have to start asking yourselves, where are we struggling? And I think the main thing that they're struggling is not their ones, but how they're playing as a team, the utility usage they got. Because if you look at this team composition, 1 flashbang, and it's on KO. The second you can't get that, you're going to walk out and get rolled. And you need to change up the team composition, especially on a map like Haven.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but overall, I'm just excited to see where they take us in map 2. You know, I wouldn't mind, you know, seeing you know, I would expect maybe a 2-0 sweep coming out from Rolled, but you know, I always love seeing best of 3 maps go to map 3. So potentially US or UCSD have something in mind for map 2 here. So we'll have to see how that works out for them as we do decide when we do decide to jump into it.
Yeah, so let's take a little bit of a break first and also thank our sponsors as well as IGLeague. They're putting on a new tournament coming up soon. Announcement will be either in Discord or on the website. Check both out in the About panels or do !Discord in the chat. And of course, if you guys want to join their solo arena, that's always an option for you on the website at IGLeague.com. But we'll see you guys in a little bit. We're going to get the next map going on, and you know, chat, I want you guys to tell us while we're in intermission, who do you think is taking game 2? Is this going to make it the best of 3, or are they going to get rolled? Let's find out soon.
By now, I sound like a broken record, but you know exactly how I feel about locking in Fade over Sova on Ascent. I don't think that it's always the best move, especially if you're not running anything that's going to work in conjunction with it. Now, of course, we do have the fragment game from KO, so maybe potentially there could be some work off of that. But I mean, we do have to remember going into this is UCSD's map pick, so obviously they have some sort of plan in place to try and run this map out and take the victory. But I mean, I'm skeptical to say the best, but I mean, that being said, 4-leaf on the Killjoy, I do love Killjoy picks on Ascent, so we'll have to see if that pays off for them. Hopefully, so, you know, we actually see them use their ultimates this time around. Meanwhile, over on the side of Rolled, looks like we do have Quantumus locking in potentially that Sova, or is he toying with us? Now he's going back and forth. But we do have Pauly locked in on that Fade as well. So Chamber is going to be locked in. So almost a mirror comp, just having the Chamber over the KO here, which is, I think, an interesting pick. I think since the KO nerfs, we'll probably be seeing a lot less of him around. But, you know, maybe Rolled has something up their sleeve. Quantumus did have a pretty decent game last time around on the chamber pick, so there's a good shot that they just go in and, you know, shut this down just like they did the round or the map before here. So I'm excited to see what UCSD has in store for us. They're going to be starting off on the attack side, and it looks like a pretty attack-centric composition, if I do say so myself. A lot of informational utility coming out from their initiators here in the Fade and the KO, so we might see some really good defaults here just playing off the information before getting the site hits in.
Yeah, and you want to get as much info down on Ascent. It's why a default is the just main strategy. If anything, this is a map most similar to most FPS games where you don't have custom effects, you don't have very unique ways to rotate outside of your legs, so you're just going to have to play around that and make sure that you don't get picked off and shut down. But can we see what's going on today? Of course, these guys know what they're doing, and I think they're ready for it. It's definitely a risk that I think these guys want to push in for, but right now Jason is going for it. He's actually going to allow that to pop off. Maybe they now think that he's not in Catwalk.
Wow.
I mean, it's patient here, but the fact of the matter is Melvin, he's already aggroed himself all the way up to the front. We don't have that flank coming out from Jason at all, and these guys, they're locking themselves down to pizza, and I think Polly, they want it, and I think Polly wants to get some picks here. There is a clean headshot here. Putting util down. Salad will get slurped. So far this pistol round, a little bit back and forth, but there is going to be another pick for Polly.
Really interesting play coming out from UCSD here to just kind of go straight in a tree. He's going to put Jaesung on the back foot here, and a great teleport on the generator will allow them to punish Jaesung, and that's going to be the site for them. Spike should be coming down, but now it's a 3v2, you know, favor towards UCSD, but we do have Polly and Quantumist alive, so if there's any two players here that are going to be able to pull this one off, it could be the two of them as they just look to set up for a potential pinch here. Melvin going to shut that down real quick, and now just Quantumist alone in a 1v3.
You know, he might be alone, and with the new nerf coming out for the Headhunter, honestly, rocking the Ghost is not a terrible position here, but you, of course, still have to hit your shot. Can you get this man Salad down, or are they just going to keep you? There's one, but it's not too late to die. I mean, Melvin, he's able to get himself a few picks here, and of course, their rounds are now moving even forward and better. We're seeing that Melvin is still consistent, even though he's not playing on the same agent.
Yeah, and I do want to point out something from that pistol run there. We see a lot of teams usually on Ascent like to go for that mid aggression. That's exactly what UCSD did. They got into mid so quickly, but what was so curious about it is that they backed out of it almost immediately as soon as they were challenged, but they had no other players set up anywhere else, really B main or A main, to try and, you know, make a more seamless rotate into either site. And the fact that they were able to run away with that round off of the back of just, you know, giving up that mid space is really quite impressive to me. So now anti-eco for them, a Marshall in the hands of Quantumist, and a very characteristic shorty in the hands of Jaesung here to just anticipate this potential B push.
Oh, you know, you can anticipate what you want, but Melvin, he's just going to keep going. He wants more, but here's
one enemy remaining.
With the Vandal. He might lose it, but Polly sitting in Boathouse. There's nowhere for these attackers to really go that doesn't say Polly is in boat. This is where they want to see it, but he's been anchoring the entire time. Is it baiting your team, or is it playing it smart? Let's find out if you can get a pick or not. With everybody now working forward, it's a little bit of noise down, and that is going to be the usual forward, and Salad is going to be the better Fade, able to use that info to slide them into.
I really like the tempo from UCSD. They're actually not just running straight into B site. The time that they took to just make sure that they were set up actually forced Polly out of what I would consider to be a more favorable position. I think if, you know, the sound was cut, he just started questioning whether or not he was doing the right thing, and by the time they pushed in, he was just caught off guard. So a flawless round coming out for them. So much needed for UCSD to just kind of make sure that they can keep the momentum going. But now Rolled on a rifle round, and so this is going to be their opportunity to just make sure that they can stabilize this and get that.
We'll catch them. Of course, we do have some utility to try to push these players back. And Amir, look at this man. He is already pushing up, and these attacks, they're bonus. They know they're facing off against them right, and he doesn't care what gun is aimed at him. He's the one that knows how to aim better. There's a shot down. Here we go. A inertia gun down by Amir. Lay down. Their map pick is looking clear. One, but he's so low, and they're running it down. 4Leaf is gonna get it, and himself a Vandal. This is what we like to see from UCSD. Can we have them try their best to get some picks, though?
Spike
planted.
Right
now, 4Leaf stuck underneath this. Giving away your position like that, honestly, I think Heaven has the advantage. Not sure what he's aiming at there, but we'll assume he's hitting all his shots.
Last player standing.
Smoke. Getting gunned down. The bonus round, only losing one member. That's how you like to be on attack.
Really expertly played round from UCSD there. They actually, a lot of teams don't always do this well, but when you're on that bonus and you don't necessarily have the most optimal rifles, a lot of people really just tend to play, you know, how they would in almost any other rifle round. But the way that they did that and just making sure that they're hitting, you know, any area just off of pure contact and not necessarily giving a lot of their position away allowed them to not only punish Jason, but it allows them to get into the site without taking hardly any damage. Really strong fundamentals from them, and that's why they're able to win that out. So now Sheriff's on the side of gold. It's going to be a lot for them to try to take down now. Inertia already starting us off with one. It's not going to be enough. It's Amir and Salad just force their way into the site. Already free site for them. Spike should be coming down now in a 3v4.
You know, Salad absolutely going up and tossing all these players around. This man has been kind of bringing it back. Last game, he was not popping off nearly as much as he is now. 3-0, hitting all the heads possible. But looking at what we got from Amir, this angle here, yes, he is not going to be able to get shot from Heaven, but if that wall goes down, he's the first to get spotted. Here having Polly trying to get some info, and it's not going to connect. He knows that there's one down, but can't really do a whole lot. It's a 3 against 4, and this is a bonus or a save round / econ, so they're gonna have to just keep being consistent. It's gonna work.
Last player standing.
The bomb is sticking down, and
one enemy remaining.
Away, but Polly's gonna get his, and there's no point in saving him. Let the bomb kill him.
Yeah, really decent attempt at a retake there. Unfortunately, time was just not on their side, but they are able to try to do just a little bit of economic damage, but at the point where UCSD is right now, it's really just, I mean, a drop in the bucket. But Rifle's back in the hands of Rolled. Of course, round 5, they're gonna have to try to answer back with something. Unfortunately, Quantumus, I think, just gonna try to rely off of his headhunter here. As you can see, he's not buying anything, but an up in the hands of Jason. We've seen this man pop up, and there's a buy coming through for Quantumus as well. So potentially some hero plays coming up from Jason. We saw him last, you know, map just going absolutely nuts with that Phoenix. So we could see him finally try to redeem himself now on this map number 2.
You know, redeeming yourself definitely could be the story of the day. He's able to get us a lot of picks, but right now, I like that he's taking a backseat, not going for all of the frags, but I stand correct. I mean, just look at that. He is the entry. Getting the pick on the top is huge. Getting the dink onto that fade. This is what we kind of like to see. Take damage on the map of Ascent. Make these rounds go by a little bit faster, one step at a time. But of course, you always have to play this map slow. You gotta wait for them to give you some space, and then you immediately capitalize on it. Getting gunned down. Salad is able to get the trade off for Melvin's deceased, but we do have 4Leaf going for that spike plant, of course. He also has the lockdown, but I'm very sure that we should not be seeing ultimates for these attackers. If he pops it, it's a 3 against 4. You gotta wait to see if he gets the picks here. Coming out. You should run. Everybody, and this is gonna be the lockdown down, and Slurt will get one, but Jason, he is not willing to push, and with only 5 seconds, they gotta bail. They gotta get out of there, and I think they aren't going to get hit by it, luckily, but it's a save round. He's got an op, no credits, has to save.
Yeah, I mean, you need to carry as much of these guns in the next round as possible. Obviously, looking at a 5-0 in favor of UCSD, not the position that you want to be in. So making sure that you're getting the operator out of there and not gifting it into the hands of your opponents is definitely the right move. But really, I wanted to point out the UCSD, very similar default to what we saw last map as well. Very heavy mid-aggression. They're kind of punishing the fact that Rolled is not really that strongly. But again, as soon as they take that mid-aggression, they take the space, they immediately pull out and then go to hit A. We've seen them do this play already once before, and even though Rolled actually anticipated it, like they were very adaptive to it and they were ready for it, it looked like they, you know, they had some sort of plan there set up with Inertia and Slurt just holding tree ready for that push, but the null command was able to shut that down almost immediately. Luckily, they're not going to have the null command every single round, so there is a good chance here that Rolled is actually able to continue to get these reads off and shut down one of these rounds. But as I say that, UCSD looking to just go for a 5-man push onto A main, where they Rolled have basically no utility here to slow.
Not a lot of utility to try to back them up, but look at Melvin. I mean, he's the man making the space, and I think he wants to find his place inside of heaven. Look at this jump up. I know what's about to happen. He's just got to try to get it, and I think Quantum is going to be a little bit of a and this is the flash, that's the combo. Melvin takes out Quantumness, and honestly, these defenders, they can't do a whole lot, but they couldn't hear what we see. That's going to be double detained down. That smoke, though,
Wow.
I love the Fade and Killjoy combo, but it was just not enough because they did get out-aimed at the end of the day.
I mean, it seemed like everything was going the way of Rolled there. A really well-placed lockdown allows them to get onto site, and, you know, the smoke from Inertia to try and block them off actually just ended up playing to their favor, as Amir was just able to, you know, do an underhand flash right out of it and catch almost every single person. We've seen Amir's utility has just been absolutely on point, so, you know, UCSD just seemed to be in their head a little bit as Rolled tries more and more to adapt to their defaults and their play style. UCSD just immediately switches up what they're doing and then punishes them perfectly. Now we can see them already going in for early B aggression, exposing the fact that Pauly might just be here by himself, and there's not much he could do with only a ghost in hand. UCSD is going to try to take their time a little bit, but they can't wait too long, Edge, because we can see the rest of Rolled is already rotating through.
Already moving and moving. Double kill down. This is moving like
last player standing. Flawless.
Now gunning that down in a flawless round. That was the probably fastest round we've seen on a set in a hot minute. A set is a slow map. You gotta just play it slow. But no, guys, this is UCSD, and SD is moving in so clean every single time. And I think they're gonna continue to do that. The fact that they are 7-0, this is their map pick, and you know, some people might have predicted somewhere else, but right now, Rolled, they're panicking here.
Yeah, I mean, already 7-0. It feels like we just started this map and not too long ago, and it seems like UCSD just seems to have all the right plays for every situation. Now that they know that there's going to be rifles in the hands of their opponents as well as a tour de force, it looks like they're just setting up for another default. So the question is Rolled going to be able to read this well enough, and do they have the answers to shut this down? As we see UCSD just already going to control this mid, so we can anticipate them to just hit A like they often do.
Just hit A as you do. Pauly absolutely trying his best.
Face your fear!
And of course, everybody's ready to go. Let's find out. Quantumness ready to roll
down
it, ready to
A.
bowl it. Can't we see it happen? Of course, Quantumness is ready. He's got this. He's pushing it down, and
one enemy remaining.
everybody is now
Flawless.
down. Flawless round for these defenders. I mean, it's what you like to see. A back-to-back flawless for each side. A little bit of a turn of momentum, and you got to hand it to Inertia there, getting himself some picks. But one thing that we have to mention, Jason, the man previously going so positive, now 1-6, questionable.
Well, unfortunately, Jason just hasn't been in the right positions to find the picks that he wants, and now it seems like Rolled has kind of found the secret ingredient to understanding how this play, how UCSD is running their plays, and we saw it in that round. They anticipated the hit and were able to shut it down almost immediately. The question is, can they continue to keep that up, because the economy is still in such a good place for UCSD. And as I say that, Quantumness is going to be able to find an opening. He's going to get one of his own, but he's going to up a little bit more as we now go into a 3v3 very early into the round. Still a minute and 20 seconds left to go.
Left to go and slurp that hit, shut down on that poor Killjoy. I mean, UCSD, they're bringing this back. Even though Quantumness, he got that double kill down this round, it's not enough, especially since we're just seeing Jason getting diffed here. All your eggs in, you have to put that man on a pedestal, and if that pedestal starts to crumble and the statue falls, you still build the rounds. Now, he's trying to rebuild it for his team as they want to push on to B, but he's just spraying wildly.
One enemy remaining.
Well, go in and duke it out. There is the final blow, and Attacker 7-round lead right now.
Yeah, really interesting, I think, to put the op in the hands of 4Leaf as well. It really paid off for them, obviously. So they're going to take another round, 8-1. It's starting to look pretty dangerous here for Rold. I mean, they are going to have some money to buy, but Jaesung has yet to show us what he can do on this jet operator position here. And UCSD is just really fearlessly kind of rolling over them. Pretty much any site that they decide to go, it's been so easy for them to just kind of get in there without really being punished at all. So now it looks like Rold is going to try to just go for a double op setup here for both A and B, and potentially just early map control, I think, aggression here over on B that will be almost immediately punished.
I do like the punishment coming out. You try to take this man, the op is going to be in his hands, and he's going to go down, but Jason to do some damage, but Melvin and Koki getting one. Jason need to get some more. Spike now down.
Spike down,
available. And I think what they did is they're just gonna pick it up off their dead teammate's body. The knives are flying. And now, hit again. We're looking around, Jason trying to find somebody, but it's 2 ops versus 3 Vandals. And if you know anything about how Valorant works, you know you're gonna have to try to win the range fight, and you might not be able to if you only have knives and a headhunter as your secondaries, because Vandal shreds you, it taps you, and you have to try your best. But Quantumness, he's a guy who likes this position to be in. But B site left completely open. A little bit of an over rotation from Jaesung here. Could just be a free bomb plan, and I think that's what's gonna happen.
Where are you?
Yeah, but you know, we do have 2 players over on the side of UCSD.
30 seconds left.
Quantumness is able to trade out one of those ops for a Vandal. So there is actually a good shot that they're able to win this one out. Now, both of them kind of pushing over towards B main here, I think is the right move. The Blade Storm has been activated for Jaesung as well. So there's a very good chance that they're able to turn this around. The question is, will this Prowler spot them out? And it will, and that should telegraph their position to UCSD completely here.
You know, telegraphing your position, we do have Quantumness able to get one, and now everybody going for it. Jason,
last player
he's
standing.
gonna get gunned in the back of the head. Oh, Quantumness, you're the last alive, and you're gonna have to thrive.
One enemy remaining.
Get one.
Excuse me, I'm working.
But Melvin, just gonna go for the wall bang, and I think we're gonna see him stuck. And Quantumness is able to bring it back. A 2 against 3.
Clutch.
The clutch around at 13 HP.
Did you
Some
see
people
their
say that's an
faces?
unlucky number. I say
Sorry,
pretty
I
lucky.
should not laugh.
Now, I know what a lot of people are probably thinking here is that this is looking a little bit hopeless for Rold as we look at it, the 8-2 scoreline, but there is a chance if they win these 2 rounds out that they can close this one out, because I think that UCSD has just shown us that they're very effective on the attack side, but a lot of the reason that they're able to do that is because of how well they're just pressuring a lot of the weak points that they've been able to find in Rold with multiple people. Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to replicate that on the defense side, especially because it does seem like, you know, potentially Rold's attack pump could be very strong here. I would like to see what they're going to do, but right now they're just getting completely shut down. A stack over towards A might not be, you know, what they want, and we can see that they're already just kind of trying to rotate over to anticipate some of this mid aggression that we are about to see here from UCSD.
You know, UCSD, they're doing a Jason. Down on 2 of the strongest players here, both Melvin and Salad. That is the indication that you kind of need here. And with the attacking Killjoy popping out, shut down, and lockdown, is it actually damage taken? Slurk mowing it down, but the spike, it has to get planted. And there's
Spike planted
on point. You have to anchor this down, Koki. You have everything you need. A little bit of a line you can't really see, but here comes the one tap onto Inertia. And he knows he's
last player
the side
standing
to his left is gonna sideswipe him inside, take him down. Now Amir is going to, but he can't get it. Great attempt, and I think we might see this go to 9-3, but the economy right now for the attackers just enough so they can still buy. So I'm thinking that we are gonna see Chamber defuse this bomb, try to get his ultimate, and this could level the playing field here.
It's actually a really, really smart play. They need to get the Tour de Force in the hands of Quantumness so that he can go ahead and hand that operator off to Jaesung, which is what I would anticipate. But
last
really,
round
we have a lockdown and we have a Nightfall available for Poly and Slurt. So there is a very good chance that they're able to swing this round back into their favor and just try to, you know, stop the bleeding a little bit and end it out with an 8-4 half. Now, they did have very good rotations there, a good read on UCSD's play there, and they were able to shut down some of that mid push, I think, which has been kind of their kryptonite in this, is that UCSD has been able to put so much pressure into mid, and it allows them to just do so much with every single round. round. So we can see already Slurk kind of setting up in anticipation. A lot of utility there to kind of try to hold down mid. The question is, are UCSD going to go right into it? Look at the bullets going through the smoke. They're going to do so much damage in mid.
That is a lot of damage. Call the flex tape guy because they need that to try to put this man back together. So much taken by this chamber. And honestly, Quantumness being that low, maybe those Tour de Force does not give him quite the advantage. He can't get headshot from a distance with a Phantom. He's just going to get downed. And of course, the knives in the hands of Mel. For these little he's looking for some damage here.
Face your fear!
And that's going to get Polly down. And of course, Flirt, he wants to get some more here. It's a little bit of a push, a little bit of a pull, but if he was in that smoke, he'd definitely be dead right now. So he's going to be happy about that, but he's not going to be happy when swing out by Amir getting that hit, a little bit of a knife. That's going to suppress 2 down for the team. Jason, he's ready to go, but Inertia gets the trade down, makes this a 3 against 3. It's all about how can they retake now. The bomb is going down. We also have last round. You got to use the lockdown if it's possible.
One enemy remaining.
Happen. Last man standing is going to be the Killjoy. Has to kill everybody before it ends. Not a whole lot of time. But he can't get the pick. And he's over. Beautiful retake. This is going to go to 8-4.
Yeah, really great retake from Rolled there, especially when it was starting to look a little hopeless for them. We saw Amir finding that lurk up mid into the mid round, gave them a lot of control over the map, but thankfully Inertia was able to just kind of retake that, shut it down, and it allowed them to just get that retake off. So they are able to go into the second half 8-4. That's obviously best case scenario, but really it's going to come down to whether or not they're ready for this attack side. Are they going to be able to win this pistol round out? They need to try to replicate exactly what UCSD did to them in their attack half, because you can't really afford where you're at to go into this, you know, potentially 2-1 sort of look. You need to not only win out the pistol, the anti-eco, and the bonus, but you need to gather some more up. You want to at least try to tie this up before you can even start thinking about whether or not there's a good shot for them to actually win this round. And UCSD look like they have a strong game plan for Ascent, and I mean already we can just see Rolled lining up for an A hit, and there's not a lot of resistance here in anticipation for this.
Not a lot of resistance. A side completely left alone. Koki now finally Creed is going to get some info down, but wildly spraying through that smoke, not going to connect anything with this ghost, and the spike is going to get planted as soon as this Omen actually pushes up. And I think honestly the fact that the Omen was not able to plant for so long, this is a retake that's now possible. And
spike planted.
Everybody's ready for it. We do, of course, have the Jet waiting it out, making sure to walk right past, but he's walking into Quantumness, and Melvin's gonna get gunned. This is where we like to see this. Of course, Quantumness, he's popping it off. Rolled, bringing this game back for his teammates, but he does have that ghost. I'm surprised he doesn't buy a single shot, just a trip, just a ghost, and you know, it's just not really playing favor at that point. Nobody's playing with Sally. He is down.
One enemy remaining.
It's gonna be Quantum's triple kill now.
Yeah, I think that was a really interesting play coming out from UCSD. We do see a lot of teams on pistol round defense side really like to go for that mid play because it allows them to open up the map and then go pretty much wherever they need to go. And I would dare to say that the retake actually had a lot of potential, and I think it all was on the back of whether or not Melvin could get in a good position there. Unfortunately, Quantumness was just able to shut him down, and for there, I mean, the whole retake plan from UCSD just fell apart. They didn't have the pressure in the places that they wanted it to be, so a much-needed pistol round for Rolled there. They're going to be able to buy up some guns here as, you know, UCSD just kind of chill and just go for a save this round and hopefully try to find some punishment over in mid or B main, but it looks like Rolled kind of know what's happening here, so they're just going to move their way over towards A and just hope to get another free plant down.
Yeah, and I think that's the strat that they're going to have to do. I'm surprised that we're not seeing UCSD take the same knowledge check. This is just, yo, don't give up the same part again. I know that this is going to be that eco round. It is going to be that second round, so you got to stack up with your buddies, but the fact that they're stacking in mid isn't going to pay off. I mean, that's just about how time is going to tell, but the fact is, they don't have the ranged weapons here. So if they are mid, that's the longest range against bulldogs and other types of weapons. So it's a little bit risky. But Amir, look at this positioning. He is going to do damage, but they're just going to get gunned down in mid. You're kind of getting choked and swallowed by everybody around here. And of course, this is now just going to be up to 2 players.
Yeah, it's a really good read from Rolled, actually, to just decide to send it over to A. I think they could kind of tell that the default was to try to push them into B main, so they should know that A is pretty free here, and they should have some idea that Koki might be here as well. So the spike should come down for free, and, you know, a shorty in the hand of Melvin is not really where you want to be in this situation, especially when all 5 players are still alive. So they just try to do a little bit of damage here on this retake, or else, I mean, they're going to get that very, very dangerous potential bonus here for Rolled.
Potentially dangerous, incredibly risky. Can we see it? Roll just take it? I mean, the fact of the matter is Quantum's is so low that if he were to go down,
last player standing.
Fine, but he doesn't go down. He gets a shot right on the corner of Koki's head, and you know that's definitely a risk. And Melvin, you can't really save here, so you might as well start holding W key, trying to find a pick off. But the fade right behind you will go down on the bomb, and I think this is where Melvin won't get anything here unless the shorty does come up and he gets out, but he's gonna pick up the Spectre and still choose to die for the economy. Still a good round for him, getting himself 1 pick. And I think Melvin, though, you know, what did I say? He was Jason, it was 1 and 7. Now Jason is 9 to 9. The man's really brought his A game back here, and I think that's why we're seeing a big shift in dynamics.
Well, we saw it on the last map as well. Jason is obviously just an attack-sided player. He really seems to pop off when he's in those positions where he can just kind of make those very aggressive hero plays. And now, this is going to be kind of a do-or-die moment, in my opinion. Obviously, 8-6 isn't the biggest gap in the world, but if they are able to win out this bonus round, it's going to put them in a really good position to potentially tie this one up. Now, Rifle's in the hand of UCSD, and it looks like they might just be anticipating this A hit. We can see they're doubled up in tree. A lot of information utility to try to slow down an A main hit. Exactly what this is going to be, but the nano swarms are not going to be doing enough to slow this down as Jason gets right into the site.
I love how Jason is on attack. You were saying it, you know, he's not that good on defense, but when he's on attack, he's just there, ready to dominate. And we love seeing that from this man, but is it going to be enough? He is, of course, against people with Vandals. The fact is, they got the spike down. They know exactly how to play this around, and Melvin, he has to pick up the pace. He's got to swing this out and not get domed by Quantumness, but Quantumness with that Marshall has been so consistent match. It's practically an opposite point. Flashbang coming out. Yeah, a little bit of recon, and there we go. Clean shot.
Last player standing.
1, 2, 3. And where's the last man standing? That's right. He's outside a tree. Quantumness gets the picks.
Wow, and I mean, Roll didn't even really invest into, you know, trying to make sure that they won that round. We saw 2 people still just holding on to pistols, but fortunately for them, Slurt is an absolute god made flesh, able to shut down that push immediately from hell with just a Spectre in hand. So now they've got the bonus round 1. That's exactly what they needed. If we could check that one off the list, okay? So UCSD, now Sheriffs in hand, are going to have to try to figure out what play they need to try to, you know, disrupt these aggressive plays that Roll has showed us they're so efficient in pulling off. Now it looks like they might just be going for a little bit of a default here in anticipation for what I would assume is just going to be kind of a strong, you know, multiple man contact play with these Sheriffs to try and get something in here. But already they can kind of tell where a lot of these players are at just based on some of the utility that we've seen pushed out. So Rolled is just going to take their time. They're going to wait for UCSD to make a mistake, and then once they've done that, they'll decide where to go.
And they got to decide fast. The thing about Ascent is if you start using up some info, utility, all of that jazz, but look at this Quantumness. He has no 1 trip down, but no headhunter. I don't think we really see Quantumness using his headhunter very often now that I think about it. He doesn't buy it pistol round. He doesn't buy it mid round. He's confident in saving his team money, and I think that's kind of what you have to do, and that's make it in the top frag here. But before going, here comes Jason up on top. They have to pick down from here, and another one for Leaf, and the plant is now coming out. Jazz, Sally looking for more, but he's going to get the headshot down. Beautiful shot from Salad, but they need to take this round. They've given so many away. Back to this 3 against 4. I mean, the Bucky, the sticker, this is not the weapon of choice you want, and I think Salad's going to find out the power of the Vandal in his own head. Gets
last
down.
Player standing.
Melvin, last man standing. We're a little bit of a Hail Mary push.
Wow, I mean, honestly, the fact that Rolled has been able to hit the A side that they have been so many times and be successful. It's not very often that you see a lot of teams just 5-manning A main. A lot of times you're gonna see that split through tree, and I think the problem is that UCSD, they're anticipating this and they're being punished for it. Because they're thinking, okay, surely somebody's gonna be coming through cat at a certain point, but really they just don't need to. Jason creates an amazing amount of space for them every single time, and they're allowed to just get right into the A site. And at the end of the day, you know, you're just solo holding back of A site by yourself. What are you gonna do when 5 men come running through A main and just immediately melt you? So now Rolled in a really good position. They're up 4 rounds. They've officially tied up the scoreline, and this is what we talked about before. This is exactly what they need. Now it's looking like a Rolled 2-0 victory is more possible, and I think UCSD has started to become more aware of that. As we can see, they've taken their time out. But Slurt, again, he's got a lockdown available, and this is a very crucial round for them to win. I mean, if UCSD doesn't take this, it's going to put them in a very bad position, and it's going to put Rolled up in the lead.
Yeah, and if Rolled takes this lead, they might be able to take the game. And I think that's going to just set them aside and say UCSD, lots of people were having high hopes for them, but every time it's a map switch, I don't know what activates inside of Rolled's brain, but it says, oh, yeah, we're playing for money. You know, they remind themselves that, and then they just toggle their brains on. They put on their thinking cap, and they're nice. But Melvin now doing the same for himself, realizing the strat is to just play better, getting himself that 2-pick down, wanting to keep it going, and now this is what we love to see. The fact that Killjoy, no more lockdown, Fade, no more info. It's about how can we see Jason and Quantumness really carry their men into battle with Inertia, of course, right behind, looking out for these rotates.
Yeah, this is actually a very important pick from Melvin there early on, not to just get the lockdown out of their hands, but also their Fade, as you pointed out. So now, I mean, Rolled, they're going to have to try to rethink what they want to do, and we can see they're a little bit unsure. It's looked like they're trying to put a little bit of pressure towards mid. I think they want to force UCSD to anticipate an A hit, which looks like that could be the case, because now, I mean, Salad has gotten no information off that Prowler, and they could just re-hit B here, Edu, and Salad would be all alone.
No, Salad getting all of the win for this team, but they gotta move fast, and the fact that they didn't take him down, Salad could reposition himself and maybe get himself 1 pick, or 30 seconds. Jason getting the 2 kills down and leveling the playing field again. Oh. But almost gets it. That's so close.
Oh, no.
Jason.
So unlucky.
Here we go. Flashbang.
Last player standing.
He's talking about unlucky. That spray down just got 2 for the price of 9, with now 4 Leaf pushing in, wanting to get some picks. And is it going to be enough? Let's find out. Okay, we see this happen. A little bit of a phantom. Damage. Oh, Jason. I mean, when we see a beautiful entry from Melvin, able to get 2 like that, you're expecting his team to win it, and then just they fall apart.
Well, I mean, it was just expertly played by Rolled, right? I mean, a lot of the information was out for UCSD. They knew that the site was going to be hit over towards B. So Rolled, they decided to cut noise and not only re-hit, they expend some utility over towards A to try and sell that fake. And it works because UCSD sends the rotations over and just leaves Salad all by himself on B. And after expertly dodging a Prowler, it allows them to just get right in, and they don't lose a single person. So, I mean, 4Leaf probably should have just tried to save the rifle there, but unfortunately goes for it. So now 9-8 Rolled are in the lead, and Melvin again trying to go for another hero play, but Slurt's just going to shut it down almost immediately, and as Salad falls, it's going to open up the B site for Rolled to take for free, I think.
Yeah, for free there. And obviously, that's going to be Koki getting a little cocky, pushing all the way out of top mid, getting himself a pick with the Sheriff. He's rocking it right now. And even though this is an eco round, getting those picks one after another is crucial into winning the game. Let's find out who really is available here with, of course, Polly with that Vandal. 2 on the push. Flashbang looks away, and all it does is stun one of them and slow the other. Let's see what happens. There we go. 4Leaf getting it 2 against 3. They have themselves weapons if they just want to keep pushing as a team here. And Inertia, though, he wants to shut them down. He just did it last round. He gunned them down, and he's gonna try again. Of course, Inertia, let's see if you got the swing. Let's see if you got the picks.
One enemy
one more here to try and mess with lockdown, but it's not going to happen as Inertia and Slur shut them down immediately on that entry, and that's really unfortunate for UCSD. A much-needed round as, I mean, Rolled have now won, what is that, nine unanswered rounds from the first half to the second half, and all of their ultimates online. Meanwhile, UCSD gonna put some rifles in their hand. They do have a Nightfall. They do have a lockdown. So if Koki can pop this from the Shadow's Edge and get some information early in the round, it might give them a good idea of where to set up. Now, otherwise, I can't imagine a better scenario where Koki can use this ultimate of his to try and win them out this round. We can already see Rolled setting up again for another B hit. A Paranoia coming out is going to allow Melvin to get in there with the Judge and take down Polly.
Get out of my way!
But here's the O's in the hands of Salad, and now it is out of his hands, out of the map, out of the game. There's 4Leaf, though, able to try to get the trade-off for his teammate, but the fact of the matter is that one way is crucial. We do, of course, as you said, he's got his ultimate now, the lockdown, and on the retake on B, Killjoy's lockdown is one of the most powerful pieces of utility you can possibly have. Omen! Welcome to main, opening the door for Quantimus to kind of get panicked, missing the shot.
You should run.
Only one bolt remaining, and now it's 2 Killjoys, 1 sight. There we go.
These could pop at the same time.
Oh, they're gonna pop at the exact
Last
same time.
player standing.
It's gonna be everybody stuck inside, but no, it's the attacker Killjoy who wins it, who gets everything down. And these defenders, they get countered, but Quantimus, he's not able to push up. He knows that they're both there, but did Quantimus just sell it by not being able to hold this?
One enemy remaining.
Wow, Quantum. I mean, 2KJ, 1 sight. You gotta not Google it, but you gotta say well played for the lockdowns, clicking at the same time. Only one getting barely destroyed by Quantum there.
I mean, that was a swing right there. That was for the whole round. The fact that they were able to shut down that lockdown and for theirs to pop off gave Quantimus the exact right amount of time to just secure that win. At that point, it was just like, how long can I keep them off of the spike? And he was able to pull it off, not only just denying it, but getting both the kills as well. So Rolled continue to just roll over the opposition here. UCSD has no answers for this gameplay.
Gameplay indeed, and look at what we got from Koki. He is trying to get himself some more, but Melvin, that's an operator in his hand, and we know what Melvin could do with these long-range weapons, with the Op, the Tour de Force, the
Face
Marshall.
your fear!
Everything here is leading up to Jason right in front of his crosshair, saying nice reaction time, you're fine, clicking on him, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and now this is what we like to see from Jason yet again, taking out 4Leaf for free. Now Amir needs to get himself free here to try to level the playing field for his team. The retake flashbang coming out, and that's going to get him
Spike planted.
and almost Quantum, but he just can't hit the shots. Not a single part of that spray connecting. And honestly, let's see what's going to happen from
One
Quantum.
enemy
He's
remaining.
got this with Jason getting all the picks, and last man standing is going to be the fade. Avoiding them is Salad.
It's a shame you had to die,
Get
but
eaten.
you
That is
are part of
just
the
a bad round for these for these defenders and attack.
Match point.
I think this is
I mean, that's
their
it.
favorite. Their economy.
Yeah, that's got to be it. I mean, they invested every single thing into that round. They do have a couple ultimates online, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. I don't. The setup that they had for Melvin holding B main, I think, was nice, but they didn't have anybody there to bail him out or to, you know, potentially back him up had the site gone towards B. They sent 4 over to A and then had Melvin holding a one and done position all by himself and immediately are punished for that. So, I mean, it's going to take a lot of heroics for them to try and bring this back. Only 4 rounds to take them into OT, but with the way that Roll's been playing, I just don't think there's a shot.
You know, I don't think there's a shot. Roll just rolls him over. You know, it's funner to roll somebody over after you give them confidence. After you build them up, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And I think that's what Roll does. They like to play with the people they play against in a mind game sense. You know, obviously they're playing Valorant, but Roll's playing a whole nother game, and Melvin is unable to connect a shot with Marshall. Tries his best, but this is going to be the last round unless Melvin can get himself 1 or 2 with the Marshall being this aggro. But he used up his dash. I don't know if he's going to be able to re-hit this very well. I do like Amir, though. If he sits here with the Judge and he passes judgment onto these teams, this could be definitely what to do. And they know they're all there, but only one of them broken. I love that. There's not of info. And he gets nothing from it. And Melvin, he's trying, but luckily Koki is going to get 1. There's now Judge in the hands is going to get more.
Spike down.
Down A.
Got this honestly, UCSD, they're confident right now. And there
30
is the
seconds
judge.
left.
Spike is now down. You're gonna have to pick that up and TP away. But there's a man camping right behind
got
you.
the spike.
Grab it, hits the killjoy, and it's a bail. Look at this. Honestly, I think they're gonna walk either right into 4-leaf or into a judge and Koki combo. Koki's now shut
No
down.
charges
13
left.
seconds.
One enemy remaining.
It's not over yet. A thrifty-esque round, a force of a buy.
I mean, really well played round from UCSD. They not only employed, what their weaponry they had that was just not, obviously ideal, but really good utility to just slow down that hit. It seems like they finally started to figure it out a little bit, that Rold is just going to be hitting these sites, and they were able to kind of remedy it. But is it too little too late at this point? I mean, still 9-12, it is winnable for them. They do have rifles in their hands, Bulldog still in the hands of Koki, so there's a shot that they're able to bring this back. But I mean, look at Rold. They have the potential here. If they can farm some orbs for Salert, they could win it off of the back of a lockdown, if that's kind of their plan. It looks like they might just be setting up for default, which we haven't seen a lot from them lately. So will this pay off? Look at what's happening over in mid here, though, Edge. A lot of space being taken off of the back of this push from UCSD, and this could be exactly what they need to break up any potential play.
Oh, and there it is. I mean, that's a big pick. Quantumus, of course, is the top frag. 20 and 11 was 20 and 10, but let's see if Inertia is ready to go.
Last player standing.
No. UCSD, they're turning this game around. Don't ever say the game's over when you still have a man who could buy a judge. Just saying, that single weapon is one of the main reasons they're still in this game. The amount of damage they got. Koki trying to bring this game back. Melvin with that operator. And honestly, if these attackers aren't able to win this round, they don't really have enough economy to full buy on the very last round, and this might go into overtime. They have to win it or it's over.
I mean, dare I say, did we accidentally curse Rold? We both said that it was going to be over for UCSD, and now, after we said that, look at it, 2 rounds in a row, the economy is back on point, and Rold is starting to look a little worse for wear. This could be it. They only need to win 2 more rounds to take this game.
Stay down.
And with Quantumus getting gunned down by the op in the hands of Melvin, OT is a possibility, and I don't mean to be that
Get
guy,
out of my
but
way.
OT on Ascent is definitely something hard to take. You have to get the back and forth. And beautiful timing though. Salad getting gunned down by Paul. It's exactly what you want to do. But are we about to see Melvin get the pick down? He doesn't know where the man is. He's panicking, but he's not panicking the game. That's a shot. Beautifully timed. And here we go. 2 of the attackers down so far, just to Melvin. And only 1 defender has lost his life so far. I think if Melvin keeps this up, they can win it. But on the enemy sit is going to be Jason getting gunned down by 4-leaf. I mean, it's hard to push in when you only have an operator. And
I think it all came down to
Target
that
destroyed.
pick, too. I think Jaesung needed to win that fight on the 4-leaf to shut down the Killjoy utility here. It's going to be a lot tougher for them now. 4-leaf is in great position.
Oh, but you know, the only position he's on is laying down because he's dead. Koki now inside of line.
Spike planted.
Is he going to make this his? Can we find out? It's
1 enemy remaining.
Oh, he's none the wiser. Flashbang out. Last man to clutch the game inside of hell. And that's going to be Melvin with the shorty. The shotguns coming out. Melvin, he's bringing this game back. I think we might go into overtime. Doesn't mean we're going into game 3 quite yet. So, I mean,
I'm afraid to say anything. Now I feel guilty almost for the fact that we're looking at potential OT. I mean, look, economy is not in the worst place for Rold. Jaesung, Jason popped his Blade Storm that round, but I mean, Quantumus does have the Tour de Force, so he can pop that and buy out a rifle for one of his teammates here. And it looks like they are going to be taking a timeout just to try and figure out exactly what they need to do. Now, the problem is that they were doing so well with a lot of these aggressive 5-man hits, but UCSD finally figured out how to counter those. I mean, a lot of it was just taking mid control and allowing them to just kind of have so much more map control and rotate into pinch positions a lot better. Now, Rold trying to kind of counter that with defaults of their own, but we've seen over the course of this series, Edu, that UCSD is far superior in their default capabilities here. So, I mean, a lot of ultimates online for them as well, and it's looking very promising for them going into this round 24.
It's looking incredibly promising. The one thing that I will mention, though, is if these guys get pushed out, you don't know what is going to happen for them. I mean, the fact of the matter, yes, we are seeing the ultimates that have been saved up, but Slurt won away. Inertia won away. Not saying that Inertia can do a whole lot with that ultimate outside of getting info or maybe a quick rotate and a plant. But with Slurt's ult, the last time he popped that down, it got 2 people in it and won Quantumous around. So it could happen, and I think that's where we're pushing B, because Killjoy there, but defense, they got the knives.
Here.
They got the Omen relocate, and they also have the Nightmarish. The Nightmare for the retake is so powerful here. Now,
Oh, yeah.
Let's
You want to play? Let's play.
And they can't. Jason gunning down. Salad, easy peasy, lemon squeeze. Can we see Koki get some more? He wants to push it, but I think this is a clean round
Spike
so far.
planted.
But the retake capability of these defenders is still quite large. Of course, they have that KO to shut down any abilities, but that's in 15 seconds. And if he gets gunned down, Amir is not going to be looking too high.
Well, and I think they're just waiting for the right timing to pop this lockdown. It's the last round, so they can just play their lives. All they need to do is find the right time, put the lockdown, and just buy enough time to make sure that they can secure this bomb.
One enemy remaining.
The best, but that's going to end the game with the Inertia getting a double
Attackers
kill.
win.
And that means that the first game of today, the first series, has gone over to Rolled, who we know just definitely is happy about that, because they're now moving on to the next bracket, and we are moving on as well. But how'd you feel about that game there? Let's talk about it.
I mean, honestly, I was a little worried. UCSD did kind of start to bring it back there, and, you know, they had a very strong attack side, and if we had gone into an overtime, we could have seen one that could just have been eternal, because both teams had really strong attack sides. But Rolled were able to finally, you know, get it together, figure out what their strengths were, and they executed that perfectly. Jae-Sung absolutely came online on the attack side, and that was just a huge win condition for them.
Yeah, I mean, their win condition here, if I'm just looking at the timeline of their gameplay, you know, yes, we saw a slight comeback towards the end from the, you know, UCSD side. They won 3 in a row to get into overtime, which or not overtime, but get it into almost overtime, get it almost up to the point where they could bring it back. If they got 4 in a row, we would have been going into overtime, and we'd still be casting right now. You know, and I gotta hand it to these players. I mean, Slurt, if he hadn't been the guy to get that pick, I think that they might not have gotten it, but once you plant the bomb, once you got your ultimate down, the lockdown, everything played perfectly. And, you know, it kind of makes you wonder. It's like, why did we not see that for 3 rounds in a row? And, you know, it's just about building up your ultimates, playing the late game as best as possible, and keeping your mental fortified. But, you know, we got a lot more games for you guys today. And, of course, you know, we got to say it again. Thank you again to our sponsors at IGLeague. And, you know, thanks to IGLeague for putting on the game. Obviously, GG's to UCSD. You guys competed beautifully. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't take that game with how good you had the start. But Rolled, they changed something. They metamorphosized at the half switch. And, you know, Disco, who we got coming up next year?